Je donne maintenant la parole à son Excellence M. Seretse Khama Yan Kana, président du Botswana.
Your Excellencies, Heads of State, Government and international organizations, ladies and gentlemen, let me at the outset express condolences to the people of France and other nations on the loss of lives as a result of the cowardly act of terrorism that befell this city on the 13th of November. The scourge of extremism and terrorism has created a path of death and destruction of many lives and property. We have witnessed many incidents of these crimes against humanity across the globe. On behalf of the people of Botswana and on my own behalf, we stand with all nations over these tragic experiences, and we pray for your strength in overcoming your losses and for the speedy and full recovery for those injured. You are assured of our support for all actions you take to address these brutal crimes committed by sick-minded extremists. Coming now to the matter we are here for, which is climate change. We take note of the unusual process being used at COP21, where heads of state lead the process before ministers and officials. Before they embark on the negotiation process, we can only hope that this experiment will deliver on expectations. Climate change is having far-reaching consequences, and it should be given the urgent attention that it deserves. Botswana, like many countries, has not been spared by climate change, and we continue to incur considerable costs in addressing challenges of both an environmental and an economic nature. Due to such effects, for example, rainfall has significantly reduced, and we are currently suffering a prolonged drought. As a result, the reservoirs providing our capital city with water have all dried up, and water is now supplied through a pipeline from other parts of the country. However, it is not only us in our country who are facing drought and high temperatures, but others in our region as well. Developed countries who are parties over the years through the Conference of the Parties have been called upon to provide the political leadership in climate change, taking into consideration their historical responsibility. We must categorically state that they have so far failed to take the lead, especially in reforming their industrial processes. As a result, the world is suffering from the impacts of their emissions on the climate. However, a significant number of countries in Africa, in responding to climate change and committed to ensuring sustainability of our natural endowments, have adopted the Gaborone Declaration for Sustainability in Africa initiative, which emanated in the year 2012 from the first ever Summit for Sustainability in Africa held in Gaborone, Botswana, and was facilitated by Conservation International and attended by 10 participating countries. These countries reaffirmed their commitment to implement all conventions and declarations promoting sustainable development. The summit was furthermore attended by local and transnational corporations, development partners, and civil society organizations who also signed the declaration. This declaration was presented at the 15th Ordinary Session of the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment, which was held in Cairo, Egypt in March this year, where it was endorsed and earmarked for inclusion in the African Union structures of programs implementation. The declaration recognizes that the historical pattern of natural resources exploitation has failed to promote sustained levels of economic growth, and therefore a concerted effort is needed to halt and reverse the degradation and loss of healthy ecosystems and biodiversity, so as to redirect the transformation of natural endowment into enhanced physical, social, and human capital, as well as improved livelihoods. The declaration recognizes the limitations of GDP as a measure of well-being and sustainable growth, that values environmental and social aspects of progress. It therefore underscores the importance of natural capital accounting as a tool for incorporating the value of natural resources and ecosystems into our national development plans and economic decision-making. Through sustainable agriculture, payment for ecosystem services, and ecosystem-based adaptation, the Declaration will contribute directly to climate change adaptation and will build the adaptive capacity of communities in transitioning key sectors towards a green economy. The ecosystem restoration component of the Declaration is an effective approach to ecosystem-based adaptation and to reducing emissions from deforestation and degradation. Botswana therefore encourages other parties to adopt this model in the interest of protecting our environment, as was done by the Southern African Development Community recently. The climate challenges are immense, but at the same time, they present an opportunity. Creating jobs and sustaining growth, as well as eradicating poverty in a carbon-constrained world, demands a restructuring of energy and transport systems and a deeper appreciation of the boundaries of the ecological systems. Through our intended nationally determined contributions, the INDCs, we have put forward energy and transport actions which will undertake to contribute to reducing global emissions. However, as these are all very costly and will cause us to deviate from our normal development path, assistance in both financial resources, technical capacities, and clean technologies will be needed to achieve these. As a party to the Climate Change Convention, we have been consistent and constructive in taking the global negotiations forward. We need a fair, equitable, and effective multilateral agreement which supports our long-term sustainable development pathway. We believe that the outcome from Paris must strengthen the rules-based multilateral system. It is therefore imperative that our 2015 Paris Agreement should be premised on the recognition of development needs and poverty eradication priorities in developing countries, whilst emphasizing the necessary leadership of developed countries in climate action. This agreement should not in any way seek to replace the current framework, Convention on Climate Change, but should further articulate objectives of the Convention, capturing the recommended temperature patterns that ensure our survival. In conclusion, we wish to enjoin the world not to be selfish in denying future generations opportunities to survive. We owe that to nature, to ourselves, and those generations to come. I thank you for your attention.